The fans have been sensational, literally the bags of letters, and I can actually say thousands of letters that we received at our home has been very moving. And I would say probably, if one was to put a percentage on it, 90% of the letters were of please reconsider my position, my future, and please don't retire. 10% I would say is sympathetic to my decision and saying, yes, we feel that you've made the right decision, and because of what you've achieved in the past, we will support you whatever you choose to do. But in essence, it's put probably even more pressure on me personally than I could ever have expected. I'm saying all this, Roseanne and myself have discussed at length our future, and being very truthful today, which is the 15th of September, I'm still not totally clear what the future holds for me. I still have an unbelievable desire and love to drive cars and to race, and the opportunities now that are basically are affording me and persuading me to reconsider is quite intense and immense. And as I said, on the 15th of September 1990, I can honestly look you all in the eyes and say I'm very confused at the moment as to what the future might hold.
The international press call him the Lion. His name to his army of fans is another word for achievement and drama. His admirers see him as one of the finest attacking drivers in the history of motorsport. His critics think of him as fiery and impetuous, capable of brutality, a risk-taker of genius. His rivals speak of him with thoughtful respect, the kind that is also faintly tinged with fear. His peers know him to be an equal, who aspires to be first. By any standard, this is a complex man, hugely talented, a self-made champion. This is the story of a quest, a tale of adventure, high risks and great reward, where courage and skill carry a man on a remarkable journey. No chapter is the same. The story, like the man, is true. He will speak freely about himself, his trials and setbacks, his skills and technique, sharing all those moments which go to make up a life. We are about to enter the world of a very private person. Only those closest to him know the struggle and pain behind the glory.
I mean, the fans in Italy have actually said that as a race car driver, I've got one of the biggest hearts in the business. And I think everybody would agree even today that I never get accused of not trying. I've always rationalised Formula One really from the day I started, and the reason I have the strength, and people say, well, where do you get the perseverance or the will or determination? And that is because I've always kept my feet firmly on the ground, and I've actually said to people, you know, look, you guys, what you've got to appreciate in our game is that you're here today and you can be very much wanted, but tomorrow it can be all over. Because when you're going 200 plus miles an hour, I'd say anything over 140, 150, you must have the ability or brain adaptation to slow things down. That is to say, if you're going at 200 miles an hour, the best drivers in the world are probably able to slow down the parameters, the things going past us and the corner approaching, probably to a relative speed of 40, 50 miles an hour, which sounds astonishing, but that's what a racing driver does.
Nigel Mansell is a professional racing driver. Today, Nigel is a celebrity, a household name, and the highest paid sportsman in Great Britain. He is also many other things besides. A husband and father, a businessman, a golfer of quality, an enthusiastic aviator, as well as being a special constable for his local community. Honours and trophies are his, distinctions for citizenship and charity. It could be said that Nigel Mansell has everything. Almost. Nigel Ernest James Mansell was born on the 8th of August 1953 in Worcestershire, England, above the family tea room. Nigel drove his first automobile, an Austin, in a field at the age of 7. Like many top drivers of the last 15 years, the young Nigel started his racing career in karts.
And certainly it was the junior ranks of motor racing, and you race in very close contact, and it was very exhilarating and very enjoyable.
Formula Ford provided Mansell with his first true racing car.
A little bit more commercial, more aggressive, but for me, a great struggle with again sponsorship. But I'm saying that tremendous happiness from those 2 years I spent. We had a few races in '76 and then won the championship in '77, and really the basis of Grand Prix racing.
He also won the hand of Roseanne Elizabeth Perry, his constant companion and teenage sweetheart. Deep down for Nigel, there was another calling, the need to race and win. Driving was now an obsession, and so was the need for cash. To go up the ladder to Formula 3, the Mansell's home, car, even the family silver, was on the line.
I mean, I sacrificed the house, I sacrificed the car, I sacrificed all the small treasures that we had. Pictures, I had a couple of guns, even which people will laugh, a set of golf clubs. We sold everything we could to buy that racing car and go racing, and then up into the other formula, we actually sponsored ourselves just for 4 races, and then it was gone. You know, and you sit there, you got no house, you got no drive, all you've got is a lovely wife, and no job.
Nigel and Roseanne's relationship strained under the tension. After 7 months out of racing, including a spell of work as a window cleaner, Nigel was offered a drive with the Formula 3 team. And just when his luck would appear to have changed, another driver caused Nigel considerable grief in the form of an injured spine and a totaled car. Within days of this event came a summons from Team Lotus.
They said, could you come down next week? And I said, yes, fine, no problem. And then they said, well, we believe you've been in a bit of an accident. I said, really? No, you got the wrong person. But yes, on a serious note, I said, yeah, no problem, we'll be there the following week.
From this test, he would have his first meeting at Silverstone with the legendary Colin Chapman. Chapman was larger than life. He had made a career out of outthinking his opposition. No British constructor was so successful. Colin Chapman was also a kingmaker. His cars helped win great reputations.
I made it to the ranks of Formula 1 with the great assistance of Colin Chapman, because he gave me the leg up, he gave me the chance.
Nigel's the best British driver we've had come along in years.
But with Colin, my sheer honesty and determination, and whatever qualities he saw in me, which I don't know because I never asked him, but all I can tell you is that he not only took me under his wing, he took me under his roof. He basically made me a millionaire within the first 2 years. And what can I say about this man except everything?
After his Silverstone test, Nigel Mansell would take his place on this most famous British team. Chapman was a hard taskmaster. Mansell had to earn his respect and fight for everything within the team. Mansell would serve Lotus for 4 seasons. What an apprenticeship in Formula 1. 7 accidents, 5 engine failures, 15 ancillary failures, and no wins. But the form was there all right. as were lap times, places, and near wins.
I'm absolutely certain that you're looking at a potential world champion, and I don't think it'll be very long before we'll see Nigel consistently winning races.
With the untimely death of Colin Chapman in 1982, Mansell's fortunes looked distinctly down. His critics thought of him as brash and ill-advised. His enemies saw him as a luckless no-talent who drove over his head.
I can't believe this.
Did Nigel ever drive too quickly?
Probably in the early days when you think that you've got to go quicker than you can. That's very easy to sort of say and very hard to describe. But I think when you make it in Formula One, it's not just making it, then you have to consolidate. And I was in a situation, certainly, when I lost the great Colin Chapman, that I was in the wilderness. But fortunately, I'd already had 2.5, 3 years behind me in Formula One. But then you probably overstretch the imagination or mark a few times, and it wasn't necessary. And I mean, I'd explain it this way: basically, it's just experience and believing.
And the man who did believe was Frank Williams. Williams was an independent force in motor racing, a privateer along the lines of other British greats, Rob Walker and Ken Tyrrell.
I really paid attention to him first, I guess. I think it was Las Vegas, 1981, when he qualified very high up the grid. And I thought that was a very impressive piece of driving, because it was a hard circuit, but his car, he was probably faster than the car at that time. And I thought, we should keep an eye here. We needed another driver in the team for 1985. I'd frequently watched Nigel, obviously paying attention to his career. We talked briefly at the end of 83 about 84, but there was no opportunity. And I thought, let's talk to Nigel for 85, towards the end of 84, and thinking he's a good, tough driver, going to go on with the program, speaks English, he's one of us, if you like. We can make some good progress here, but never for a moment did I imagine that he was that good.
Williams had a bright team, a very promising engine, and on his 72nd try, a winning driver, Nigel Mansell. A first win at Brands Hatch, a second win in South Africa.
2 majestic wins, especially the Brands Hatch one. It was very special for Nigel, of course, being his first. But it became apparent to us as the season went on that the guy had outstanding talent, and going along with that was a very useful understanding of his car. But he made a big jump, if you like, over that winter. 2 wins behind him in 85 launched him into 86. And clearly he was a front runner from then on, and with Nigel, of course, and no looking back, just go forward from there.
There were many adventures in Team Williams, not the least of which was a brief introduction to the rising Brazilian star, Ayrton Senna. This was followed by more extended encounters, a breathtaking exchange where the outcome was ever in doubt. The closest race in modern Grand Prix history.
He's tucked right in behind the rear aerofoil of Lotus number 12. They come up to pass Brundle, and Mansell moves to the outside, and Mansell's going through. Nigel Mansell takes the lead and neatly boxes Ayrton Senna. Mansell can't afford to relax for one instant, because Senna's looking for every gap, and Senna's going through. Ooh, and he locks his wheels once more. But Senna's coming back for more. And Senna darting alongside, and Senna's surely done it this time, right on the grass on the inside, and Senna is through. This is a tremendous final lap as they come behind the pits, through that back section, down now under braking once more, through that fast right-hand flick that leads to the tighter right-hander. Now they come down to this hairpin, and watch if Mansell closes up under braking. He does. He's right there with them. The checkered flag is waiting. It's now the dash for the line. Can Mansell get alongside? He goes one side. No, he goes on the inside, and then side by side over the line.
I tell you, I've never worked so hard in my whole career, because I had so much to do, and the car was working so well, and the engine was still working very well. I think I lost by the smallest of margins.
The vindicated Mansell would race for Team Williams for 4 seasons, and he would win again and again.